Twilight! Our friends are in there!
Yes, the movie make it clear. Sunset is not an Alicorn. My analysis was correct. So screw you all the haters who called me a liar and tried to blackmail me by saying, if you won't take your words back, I will keep blocking you. I was right, you were wrong. Sunset is not an Alicorn, end of story, bye bye. Well, actually, there is something to talk about. The movie made it clear, Sunset is not an Alicorn and most likely she won't become, simply because this group already have one. So this question is clear. Yet on its place we have 3 new questions. What are those new powers Humane 7 received? What are those gems Gloriosa found? And my favorite, why is Sidewine an Alicorn? Okay, I need to make something clear. I was never against the idea of Alicorn Sunset. I was against the idea of randomly giving her wings because she used more magic than usual. In fact, considering her arc, Alicornation would be a nice payoff. However, now that won't happen because balance. I'm not sure what to think of Sidewine being an Alicorn, simply because I don't think she earned it. If we would use the main 6 as a reference, Sunset's position in this group is pretty much the same as Pony Twilight. She is the untold leader of the Humane 7. So where does that put Sidewine? Well, she's a Starlight, a friendship apprentice still dealing with her past. So why is she an Alicorn? To answer that question, we need to first answer what are those gems. Many people assume that those are the human world's version of Elements of Harmony. However, I might consider that possibility, but I'm not fully convinced on that. Simply looking at the place where Gloriosa found those kinda reminds me of the Tree of Harmony. But we must think logically if we can say that in context of MLP. Tree of Harmony is a millennia-old being created by powerful magic way beyond anything, and possibly the source of all magic in Equestria. The elements itself were also created by that powerful magic. Pretty much those are considered to be the most powerful object in all of Equestria. Now let's go back to the human world. In Gloriosa's flashback, we've seen the magic that created those geodes. Even if it was concentrated, it's still a small chunk of magic. Compared to one that created equestrian elements of harmony, it's like comparing pond to the ocean. Another thing that we should remember is the fact that original elements were not giving any new user-specific powers besides the harmony rainbow. Also, at least for now, there are only 6 elements of harmony, and here we have 7 gems. And the last thing is the simplest one. The tree and the elements are long retired, ever since season 4, so why the writers would decide to go back to them? I think those crystals are not the elements of harmony, or at least not quite. So what are those? Actually, the movie, specifically Rainbow Dash, gave us a hint. When she get her powers, she ran pretty much to the town, but it took her long to return because the powers vanished at some point. How does that help us? I think those crystals are like a plugs, and the Humane 7 are the sockets. If you put a cable close enough to the electric socket, it might still gain the power. Similar deal we have here. The Humane 7 gained those new powers when they were in close proximity of those geodes, and when they acquired them, the powers were even stronger. By that, I'll also answer the question of those powers' origin. I think the past events resulted in creating some sort of link between the Humane 6 and their pony counterparts, or Equestrian magic itself, and indirectly with the main 6. Those geodes are pretty much like a plugs of those links. Like I said, this might be either a direct link with their pony counterparts or with the Equestria and its magic, and simply reacted with the nearest stable source of Equestrian magic in this world, which are the Humane 7, and, indirectly, it also linked there to their pony version. But where does that put Sunset? Actually, she might be a proof that those geodes are only a link to Equestrian magic itself, rather than direct to the pony counterparts, because, well, She is her pony counterpart, so to speak, and her powers itself is actually something that bothered me during the first watch, but later I realized that she might reinforce my theory about some related cutie marks, which I'll do after I'm done with reviewing season 6 and the movie, but I can tell you right now, it might explain a lot about Celestia. Now let's go back to Side-Y. Originally, after Friendship Games, I thought she's still a unicorn. Both her and Pony Twilight were born as a unicorn and led their life as a social recluse. However, Pony Twilight embraced the magic of friendship, went through a lot of adventures, accomplished princess-worthy deeds, and was turned into an Alicorn by Celestia. Side-Y done none of those. When we first met her, she was still a social recluse, and her first contact with magic was during the Friendship Games. That's why I thought she's still a unicorn. However, back then, I might actually have doubts about her being only a unicorn, and there is a reason for that. Her wings. Sunset's wings were made of energy, while Midnight Sparkle's were more physical. What happened here is probably something similar that we've seen in Equestria Girls 1. When the elements of magic protected Humane 5, at that moment they were connected to their pony counterparts, and that's why they ponied up into the same type of ponies as the main 5. And when the portal was closed, the remaining of its magic was left inside them. Similar things might happen with Side-Y. When she released the stolen magic of Humane 6 and the portal magic, the bond between her and Pony Twilight was created, and at that moment she was turned into an Alicorn. But because that magic was wild, unstable and uncontrolled, and it was her first contact with it, Side-Y was immediately corrupted into Midnight Sparkle. As we've seen, she was still dealing with the remains of Midnights throughout the whole movie, so when using her powers, she wasn't able to poly up normally. But with the support of her friends and her own strength and determination, she got rid of Midnight Sparkle. And with that, she could finally cleanse and stabilize her pony form with the help of those geodes. So pretty much that's how I see why she's an Alicorn. It's a combination of events from both Friendship Games and Legends of Everfree. So yes, those are my theories about the geodes, the new powers and an Alicorn Side-Y. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments, but this time please be more pleasant. I'm Shapwit, thanks for watching.